I previously showed you the accumulator pattern iterating over a sequence like the numbers from 1 to 10. Python actually provides a function for us called the range function. It takes as an input a number, and what it produces as an output, range of 5, will produce a sequence 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the sequence it produces has the same number of items as the value that we passed in. The first element will be 0, and then we'll get all the numbers up to but not including 5. If I say range of 10, I'll get the integers from 0 up to 9. Now there's one subtlety to this. The range function in a real Python implementation doesn't actually produce a list. It produces what's called an iterable, something that will generate the numbers 0 through 4 when we iterate through them in a for loop. So if I say for I in range of 5, it will print out the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I actually want a real list, I would have to cast it. I would take range of 5 and pass it to the list function, which would turn it into a real list. Now in our Runestone environment, we cheat a little bit, and we actually have range of 5 producing a list object. So in the Runestone environment, you don't, strictly speaking, have to do this casting of the output to make it a list. But it's a good idea to get into the habit of doing things like lines 12 and 13, because in a full Python environment, if you really wanted to have a list, you would have to take the output of range of 5 and pass it to the list to cast it into being a real list. One other thing I want to show you here, and then we'll see the output to check everything we've done. Range takes an optional second argument. So it actually takes several additional arguments, and we'll have a chance to see what impact this extra argument has. So let's run it. And just to match things up here, we're just printing that it's range of 5, and then lines 4 and 5 are producing these numbers 0 to 4. That's the same as saying range starting at 0 and going up to 5. But if I said range of 1, 5, I would get something a little different. Now I would get starting from 1 up to but not including 5. And there's actually an optional third argument that can say, you want it to increment by a certain amount, but we won't go into that detail. Now, as I was mentioning, in the Runestone environment, range of 5 comes out as an actual list. In a full Python interpreter, it wouldn't be an actual list object unless you first passed it into the list function to cast it. And the advantage of having the range function is that we don't have to write code like on line 1 to ask for all the numbers between 1 and 10. In fact, I'm going to take you back to our code for the accumulator pattern and show you how it could have been a little simpler. So instead of saying nums equals that list, I could have said nums equals range of 1, 11. And I would have gotten the same result of 55. The range function will show up as a handy little utility for us throughout the rest of the specialization and throughout the rest of your time as a Python programmer. So keep in mind, the range function can just take one argument, and then it would give you all the numbers from 0 up to but not including 11. Or it can take two arguments where you specify the first item and the last. So 3 to 11 is going to give us less than 55 because we're not including the 1 and the 2. So we get 52 instead. So the range function takes a number and it gives you back a sequence like this list of numbers from 1 to 10. We'll see you next time.